And we welcome you to Arocha Ballpark as we prepare for Game 2 of this 3-game series between the Kansas Jayhawks and the Texas Tech Raiders. Hello everybody, I'm Kyle Mathas, and I'm joined by Brock Niemeyer today for another edition of Kansas Softball on the Jayhawk Sports Network. So Brock, congratulations. This is your first softball game. I hope you're excited. It's super, super fun, and it's good to have you in the booth too to broadcast this game with us. So KU yesterday lost 6-1 to Texas Tech, and we were talking about before the game how KU got base runners on, but they weren't able to bring it home. 5 hits, only 1 run. Tell me a little bit about what KU could possibly do to bring home those base runners and get some runs on the board.
Well, Kyle, you're exactly right. That seems to be the biggest difference in the game yesterday. You look at the hit totals. Texas Tech only out-hit Kansas by 2 more hits, 7 hits to 5, but they scored 5 more runs. They were better at timely hitting, driving the ball with runners on base and scoring position. Then a big 3-run home run from Peyton Blythe really got the Red Raiders out in front, and they never looked back. So today for the Jayhawks, they just got to do a better job. And what you'll hear from the coach in a minute, she'll say that pretty much the same thing, but just doing a better job of timely hitting and getting hits with runners in scoring position.
Oh, absolutely. And yesterday, one of the big factors was the wind, and the wind was at gusts of about 25 miles per hour yesterday, and Texas Tech still hit 2 home runs because of that. So multi-base hits and home runs might be a common thing here in today's game, with Texas Tech breaking their single-season home run record with still two series remaining, and KU, like Coach McFalls will mention in the pregame interview, really wanting to get those timely hits, and KU will definitely be aggressive today. We saw them be aggressive yesterday, and we'll have to see just what happens, Brock.
Yeah, you look at Texas Tech's offensive numbers. As you mentioned, 73 home runs on the season for that squad compared to only 30 for the Jayhawks. So Texas Tech's got a lot of power in their bats, also really good averages throughout their lineup. You look down, you see 430, 377, 336, 322. So a lot of really good hitters. It's going to be a tough challenge today on the mound for Jayhawks pitcher, who is Lizzie Ludwig today. She'll get her second start. So you got to keep the ball in the ballpark. Not very windy today. Decent day to hit. So live below the knees and try and force them to hit the ball on the ground.
Yeah, and Lizzie Ludwig also pitched yesterday. Had 4 strikeouts in that game yesterday, pitching for a few innings as well, for 2.2 to be exact. And those 4 strikeouts, I mean, KU had 7 in total. So Lizzie Ludwig had over half of the strikeouts recorded defensively in the circle against Texas Tech. But we will have more to talk about when we come back. We'll also have the pregame interview right after this. This is Kansas Softball on the Jayhawk Sports Network. We will be right back for the pregame interview. So we're back with Coach McFalls for another interview. We'll let Brock start it out. This is Brock's first game, and Brock, you have the floor.
Yeah, Coach. So yesterday, you only Texas Tech had 2 more hits than you guys, but 5 more runs. How important is it to bring around those runners when they get on base?
Well, it's exactly what we talked about at the end of the game yesterday, is just stringing hits together. We've got to find a way when we have runners in scoring position to move them across home plate. That's one thing that they did. They took advantage of a walk, a hit batter, and then they get a 3-run home run, and that's just, a deal breaker for us. So we have to be more committed at the plate and what our approach is, what we're looking for, how we're attacking pitches. I thought we had a different approach this morning, quite honestly, in warm-up, so we'll see what we get today.
And, Coach, I know yesterday we were talking about in the pregame show how it was windy. Even during the game, we saw the wind affect fly balls out and make them come in towards the infield more. Today it's not as windy, so I know your plan yesterday was to attack and be aggressive. How does that translate into a less windier day, and how do you plan on getting runners on base and then bringing them home?
Well, the difference in yesterday is we didn't hit pitches where we should have. When we're trying to pull outside pitches to the left side of the field against 25-mile-an-hour wind, it's just, you're not going to have success with that. And I tip my hat to Tech because I felt like they did exactly what they needed to do to drive the ball to right center field. So we talked about that. That can't be in our game plan. I mean, obviously without having that win today, Harper's ball might be out of the park. We might see some different, balls fly out of the field and left field. But it's a new day. No win. It's going to be an evenly matched game, and hopefully we'll figure out how to attack better pitches today.
And Coach, final question. So, is Katie Brooks in the circle today?
No, Lizzie Ludwig is going to get the start today. She does a really good job of keeping the ball in the park, and I think she's excited about the opportunity to get a start. I thought she did a nice job yesterday in the couple innings that she gave us. She only threw 30 pitches. She got a lot of swings and misses, and hopefully we're going to get that out of her. I mean, it's just one of those days, day two. You might see a lot of different looks from us, but at least we're going to give Lizzie the start in the circle today.
Awesome, Coach. We appreciate the time.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be right back after this short break.
And we welcome you back to Orocha Ballpark as you heard the pregame interview right there from Coach McFalls as we're just about to get started with Game 2 of this series. But, Brock, a lot was talked about in that pregame interview, and a lot that was talked about was kind of the pitching. We heard Lizzie Ludwig gets the start today for the Jayhawks. A little bit of a surprise. Lizzie Ludwig doesn't have many starts this season and usually comes in as more of a relief pitcher for the Jayhawks, but Coach McFalls saw how she did yesterday, 4 strikeouts in just 2 innings pitched, so she gets the start today.
Yeah, well, you look at her numbers on the season. Through 45 complete innings pitched, she has a 1.87 ERA, so she's been terrific out of the bullpen. Getting the start today, only her second start on the season. As Coach said, a lot of swing and miss stuff. She has 30 strikeouts compared to only 17 walks, so she's not going to be wild. She's going to be inside the strike zone and attack these Red Raider hitters. So hopefully the Jayhawks can turn her pitching performance into a win in Game 2 of this series today.
Yeah, and Kansas yesterday had Casey Hamilton get the start with the loss in 3.1 innings pitched, 5 hits allowed, 4 runs, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. And then Ludwig came in after Hamilton in the middle of the inning, had 2.2 innings pitched with 2 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk, but 4 strikeouts. Addison Purvis finished it off, had a quick 1-2-3 7th, but, a huge thing in this game, just looking at the stats from last night, 5 for 25, the Jayhawks offensively, with, just a double and a triple, and really just hurt them because Texas Tech didn't have really much better stats, went 7 for 27, but 2 home runs and 1 hit by pitch and an error by the Jayhawks. It all just kind of adds up. And Kansas understands that they didn't lose by that much. Their defense was good, and they just gave up runs, couldn't get runs home. And that's why KU believes that they can take 1 to 2 games out of this series, maybe the next 2 games.
Yeah, you look back at that game last night, Texas Tech only had to use 1 pitcher. Kendall Fritz went all 7 innings, only allowing 5 hits. Like you said, 1 run. And something really that sticks out to me is she only had 3 strikeouts, right? So she threw 88 pitches. She was pitching to contact and letting her defense work behind her. We'll see what the Red Raiders do on the defensive side of the ball today to try and keep the Jayhawks off balance.
Yeah, well, Kendall Fritz is really, really good at throwing complete games now. In total, in complete games this season, she's at 5 now in 27 appearances. But now we will take a look at Kansas's defense to start out this game. So for the Jayhawks defensively, they almost go with the same lineup as they did yesterday. Of course, Ludwig is in the circle to start the game. Lyric Moore is behind the plate. Olivia Bruno is at first. Haley Kripe gets the nod at second again. Haley Harper is at short with Ashlyn Anderson at third. Presley Limbaugh is at left. Shayna Espy at center. And right field, Ainsley Linduff. Don't be surprised if Peyton Renzi comes in for Ainsley Linduff in the middle of the game. We've seen that for countless games, and we saw it last night as well with Peyton Renzi coming in for Linduff. Now Texas Tech, their starting lineup. Mackenzie Herzog led off last night. She'll lead off again today. Kaylee Wyckoff, the freshman, gets the nod right behind Herzog. Then Peyton Blythe, who went 3 for 3 yesterday. Ellie Bailey is fourth. followed by Alana Barraza and Ariana Villa at the 5th and the 6th batting position in the middle of the order. Briley Love gets the 7th batting nod. Kennedy Kreitz is the 8th batter. Did not see her yesterday. She gets the start today for the first time this series. She'll get an at-bat. And then Abby Orick is the 9th batter. She was at the bottom of the order yesterday and still had a really, really good game as well for the Red Raiders. Ended up going 1 for 3 with a hit as well. So that's the lineup for the Red Raiders as Mackenzie Herzog ready to come up to bat against Lizzie Ludwig. But, partner, let's talk about Kansas. We'll talk about it in the bottom of the first a little more when Kansas comes up to bat. But in this game, they start Caitlin G., who we haven't really seen her get the start too many times this season, but she gets a start today.
Yeah, on the season, only has 2 at-bats. She's 0 for 2. Still looking to get her first hit of the season. Does have a walk, so her on-base percentage is .333, but only making her 5th appearance and first start of the season. Something to keep an eye on.
So we'll have to see what happens. So let's see what happens here as Mackenzie Herzog gets the nod to lead off for the Red Raiders in Game 2 of this series against Lizzie Ludwig. And we are underway, and a check swing by Herzog, but she went, and the first pitch is a strike from Ludwig. So Mackenzie Herzog yesterday didn't have really the game that she wanted to as the leadoff batter for the Red Raiders. 0 for 4. 3 of the 7 strikeouts in the game in total for the Red Raiders came on her at-bats. Second pitch swung on a miss, dropped by Lyric Moore in the catcher position, but that's strike 2.
We saw Ludwig start off Herzog with an off-speed pitch. Looked like went to the fastball that time in the 0-1 count. Quickly works ahead, 0-2.
So we will see what happens here. 0-2, Lizzie Ludwig trying to lead off where she left off last night with a strikeout. As that one goes in the dirt, hops over Lyric Moore's glove, off the netting to the right behind the home plate, and it's 1-2. But Mackenzie Herzog this season, not the best in terms of batting average on the season, but she's second, batting .377, and she definitely wants to get a good start compared to her performance yesterday. The top of the order for the Red Raiders. Not too good, but Lizzie Ludwig, foul tip into the glove of Lyric Moore, and that's strikeout number 1. So just like I said it, Brock, she starts off where she left off last night with a strikeout.
Exactly right. Coach McFall said she does a good job with her swing and miss stuff and keeping the ball in the ballpark. Gets a strikeout to start off the game. Couldn't ask for a better start for the Jayhawks.
What a start. So, unfortunately for Herzog, she starts off where she left off. Now she's 0-5 in the total series. First pitch is strike from Lizzie Ludwig right down the middle at the knees of Kaylee Wyckoff, who is a freshman sensation here for the Red Raiders. We were talking to one of the Red Raiders staff members how Kaylee Wyckoff during the fall didn't really turn many heads, didn't have really a good fall practice session, but here in this season, as she fouls this one off towards the backstop, it's 0-2, but in this season she's been doing amazing, leads the Red Raiders in batting average with .430 on the season.
Yeah, 9 home runs, too, so a little bit of power in her bat as well. Really impressive stuff from the Red Raider right fielder.
And she's just a freshman, so still so much more time for her to really show off what she's got when she becomes an upperclassman. The 0-2 is in the dirt, so it's 1-2. But Wyckoff from Katy, Texas, like I said, batting .430. She has 58 hits and 9 home runs in just 135 at-bats. That's just about around 40% of her at-bats turn into hits. So she is just turning heads in the Big 12 left and right. But a swing and a miss on an off-speed pitch by Ludwig, and that is already 2 strikeouts here in the first inning by Lizzie Ludwig. Now 6 strikeouts for her on the series so far. And the first 2 batters for the Red Raiders down on strikes as Peyton Blythe comes up to bat.
It's just stuff you love to see if you're a Jayhawk fan. Lizzie Ludwig working ahead against these hitters, throwing strikes early in the count, and keeping them off balance, throwing good 2-strike pitches.
First pitch to Peyton Blythe is just inside for ball 1. So 1-0. Peyton Blythe really, really good yesterday. 3 for 3 with 3 hits, a double, and a home run. 4 RBIs, just played amazing yesterday, and she actually batted 6th in the batting order as she takes a strike there, right at about the stomach area for 1-1. But she was kind of a cleanup hitter yesterday. Now we see Texas Tech move her higher up in the lineup here. They know how good she is at getting on base. So 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 outs already for Ludwig. Here's the pitch. Check swing, but that is going to be a strike at the knees of Blythe. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Really good off-speed pitch that time from Ludwig, and again, working ahead of hitters.
Yeah, she has been, we've seen 1-2, 0-2 counts for the majority of this first inning so far. Just like Brock said, working ahead. She's going to try to punch him out here. This one's hit towards Olivia Bruno at first, picked up by Kripe, throw on to first, not in time. So it was hit towards Bruno and went off her glove. And that's going to be a base runner for the Red Raiders. I don't think it'll be an error. But Peyton Blythe is now 4 for 4 on the series. Has gotten on base at every at-bat she has come up with. As we see Ellie Bailey come up as the 4th hitter with a runner on first.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how they rule that. I wouldn't be surprised if it's an error. It looked like a ball that probably should have been caught, but still no official ruling yet.
First pitch dropped by Moore, but it's going to be a strike for an 0-1. Ellie Bailey yesterday batted 4th in the order, went 1 for 2 with 2 walks drawn and a homer as well. So both home runs by Peyton Blythe and Ellie Bailey yesterday. Peyton Blythe's 3rd, Ellie Bailey's 4th on the order. That pitch just inside for strike 2. So once again, Lizzie Ludwig ahead in the count at 0-2 to Bailey. And Alana Barraza is on deck.
Same pitch, same spot that time. Fastball on the inside corner of the plate. Watch now. Bailey, is down 0-2 in the count.
Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. And it was Peyton Blythe who was trying to steal second. It doesn't matter. 3 strikeouts in the first inning by Lizzie Ludwig. What a start for her. She hasn't started many times this season, but she shows why maybe she should get more starts this year. So 4 up and 3 down here in the top of the first inning. We will go to the bottom of the first right after this. No score on the Jayhawk Sports Network. And welcome back to Rocha Ballpark as we get ready for the bottom of the first inning. It was a really, really good start by Lizzie Ludwig in the circle. She got the start today for the Jayhawks, and she had 3 strikeouts on 4 batters. So before we talk about the starting pitcher for the Red Raiders, we wanted to mention that Olivia Bruno's drop catch at first base in last inning was ruled an error. So Kansas now with an error in this game. They had 1 error last night. So starting on the circle rather, for Texas Tech is Sage Hoover. Sage Hoover this season gets the nod. She's a sophomore with an ERA of 2.58, 14-2 record on the season with 26 appearances. And she has 92 strikeouts, just 8 away from 100. Shayna Espy will lead off for the Jayhawks. Here's the first pitch, and that is called a ball right outside. So Shayna Espy, followed by Presley Limbaugh. Olivia Bruno will bat 3rd with Lyric Moore in 4th. Ashlyn Anderson and Ainsley Linda 5th and 6th. Haley Kripe is 7th. Caitlin G will bat 8th, and Haley Harper will round out the orders. This one's popped up into left foul territory. And making the catch over from shortstop is Abby Orrick. Abby Orrick and Riley Love at short and 3rd almost actually collided with each other on that catch.
Yeah, but good communication by those two that time. Shortstop has priority, so once Orrick called her off, a good job by Love, the third baseman, to get out of the way and let her shortstop make the play.
Yeah, and that communication is always key when it comes to softball, and errors can happen, and almost happened there, so good catch there. Coming up now is Presley Limbaugh as she takes Strike one at the knees, just a little bit outside of the strike zone, or just on the outside portion of the strike zone, rather. So it's 0-1. Let's take a look at Texas Tech's defensive lineup. Sage Hoover gets the nod at the pitcher spot. Kennedy Cripes is at catcher. Ellie Bailey at first. Alana Barraza at second. This one is fouled off on the back netting by Limbaugh, so it's 0-2. Abby Ulrich is at short. She made the catch with Riley Love at third. In the outfield, Peyton Blythe is at left. Ariana Villa is at center. And Kaylee Wyckoff, instead of starting in the catcher position, is at right field today, the freshman. So 0-2 for Limbaugh now. Here's the pitch. And that is just outside for ball one, but 1-2. I wanted to notice, looks like the outfield right now shifting towards left field. The center fielder is in left center. And the right fielder is almost in right center right now for the Red Raiders.
Yeah, a little bit of a defensive shift, possibly because Limbaugh is a slap hitter and likes to go the other way.
Here's the 1-2. This one's hit weakly. Kennedy Cripes, the catcher's on it, and Limbaugh is going to get there safely. So it was really weakly hit, but it worked out beautifully for Limbaugh, and she gets the first base. So the first base runner of the game for the Jayhawks it's Presley Limbaugh as Olivia Bruno comes up to bat. Let's talk about Olivia Bruno a little bit from yesterday. She did not have the game that she wanted to have yesterday. Went 0 for 2 with one walk. And she has a runner on base now, has an opportunity to maybe advance the runner with a hit here.
That's what we talked to Coach McFalls about, getting hits with people on base. See if the Jayhawks can do that here in the bottom of the first.
And a really good catch on that foul ball that went over the net on the right side. Really good catch by the fan sitting over on the right side of the stands. He'll get a free Chick-fil-A entree from that one. No balls, one strike. To Olivia Bruno, Lyric Moore is on deck. Here is the pitch from Hoover. And Bruno is going to foul that one off. Actually, I think it was a swing and a miss.
No, they aren't going to say it's foul because they're going to send Limbaugh back to first. But that pitch looked above the letters there, and Bruno chased it. Not a pitch you really want to swing at. Finds herself now down in the count, no balls and two strikes.
Almost kind of what Lizzie Ledwig had going for her in the top of the first, ahead in the order, or ahead in the count of Sage Hoover. Good foul off by Olivia Bruno as that one was going outside, and the count remains 0-2.
Yeah, good defensive hack that time, shortening it up with two strikes. Obviously don't want to take anything near the zone, so just a defensive hack that time to catch a piece and keep her at bat alive.
Olivia Bruno trying to get her first hit of the series, and she hits this one into left foul territory and hits off of the building where the KU bullpen is. So the count remains 0-2. Well, for Sage Hoover, I think she will have wished that maybe she could have gotten through this at-bat earlier, and Olivia Bruno's doing a good job of fouling these balls off and keeping this at-bat alive, maybe annoying Hoover a little bit, as Hoover's next pitch is outside and low for ball one.
It seemed like a bit of a waste pitch that time from Hoover, possibly setting up an off-speed pitch.
As Limbaugh stands over at first after she got on base. She has 6 stolen bases this year. Oh, it looks like Bruno got hit right there on the arm, so that's going to be a hit by pitch for Sage Hoover, and Bruno is going to go to first base. So that probably hurt. Actually, look out. First base umpire is going to call Bruno out.
I think they're going to just say she went around. So are they going to say she fouled it off, or are they going to call that
they're going to say it was a foul, but Coach McFalls is talking to the home plate umpire here today.
Well, I thought initially when she,
I really thought it hit her.
It looked like she swung around. She looked like she did swing, even though it hit her. She kind of turned. It looked like her bat did break the plane. So I'm not sure if the bat caught a piece of it or not.
I guess just a question for the viewers. So the umpires are going to review this. So just a question, Brock. So even if she goes around with the bat, if it hits her, is that still
it would be
a hit by pitch?
No,
so that would be a strike three.
Yeah. So I'm sure what right now they're reviewing is if it caught a piece of her bat, it'll be a foul ball.
Okay.
I mean, you can strike out on a pitch that hits you.
Yeah.
That does hit you.
So Bruno, that pitch was way inside, hit her on the arm, and she went around. No score here in the bottom of the first inning. 1 out with Presley Limbaugh on first. 1 ball, 2 strikes. If you're just joining us, I'm Kyle Mathas. Beside me is Brock Niemeyer. And It's good to be back with you at Orocha Ballpark today. Tomorrow, first pitch will be at 1 p.m. in Game 3 between the Red Raiders and the Jayhawks. Austin Eckert and Brock Niemeyer will be on the call for that one. Should be a great game. It's supposed to be a beautiful day tomorrow in the 60s and cloudy as we just wait for the home plate umpire to review if Olivia Bruno either fouled that one off or is out despite being hit by the pitch.
Yeah, I have a feeling this one's not going to go in the Jayhawks' favor unless on video, which we can't see from up here. We do not have the broadcast bias, but unless that caught a piece of her bat, I feel like she's going to be rung up on strike 3.
So the umpire's taking a look right now, but we're just waiting for, you can just hear the KU dugout right now getting really excited here. They understand that if Bruno was able to foul that one off, the at-bat stays alive. It won't be 2 outs. But that would have been big if Bruno didn't swing at that one because he would have had a runner in scoring position, would have had a runner at first, only 1 out.
Exactly
but now,
right.
it's still a probability, or a possibility, rather, as we see the call. Olivia Bruno, there was no contact with the bat, so it's going to be a strikeout for Sage Hoover. Just a really, really tough play, despite her getting hit.
Initially it was ruled by home plate umpire Kevin Condor that it was going to be a hit by pitch, but in my head I thought she broke the plane with her bat. Turned out she did.
Stealing for second is going to go Limbaugh. I think they got her, and they did. What a throw by Kennedy Cripes on the first pitch to Lyric Moore. Limbaugh took off, and it's going to be what a throw from Kennedy Cripes to Alana Barraza. That'll be the 3rd out. Limbaugh's caught stealing. And not a 1-2-3 inning, but 3 up, 3 down here in the bottom of the first. No score through 1 as we'll go to the top of the second right after this. This is Kansas Softball on the Jayhawk Sports Network. We'll be right back.